And
Welcome back, guys. Yet to another episode of Virtual Podcast at Royal Music Marketing. I've got my boy here with me, Sammy Cain, aka Blue House Music. Hey, Sammy, how's it going, man?
Man, everything's good, man. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. Looking forward to it.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you. So, we've been, waiting for quite some long time here to have you on one of our podcast episodes. It's truly an honor to have you here. Like our podcasts are, merely about an artist. They're informative. They tell a lot about the artist himself, and we usually talk about their plans and what's upcoming with their music and stuff. For the starters, we're gonna begin this podcast session with like a mere introduction about yourself. So we'd like to know your stage name. Well, obviously I know that it's Blue House Music, but let's begin. Your real name, your stage name, how you came up with the stage name, what was your journey about music? Give us like a quick introduction about it.
Okay, I mean, just to put it in a nutshell, my stage name is actually Sammy Cain. I am an artist, and Blue House Music is actually my label, my indie label out of Mississippi. We've been around for quite a bit, since 2003, and real name is Corey Sampson. Just to put it up in a nutshell, though, what our kind of goal here is we put out music as an indie label. It's a raw edge to it. It's a street edge to it, but we're trying to develop the sound of Mississippi. It's a lot of music that come out from down south, but Mississippi has not been really established yet. So that's kind of what our goal is. That's kind of what I do. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I'm a veteran, I like to say, you know what I'm saying? I got a bunch of different ventures I'm trying to venture off into. So I got artists that I support. I got artists on our label. We got merchandise lines. But that's pretty much how it goes. Indie label, up and coming, and hopefully everything will launch off how it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of, working on the Blue House Music as a label.
Absolutely.
Okay, I mean, that's interesting. So tell me, like, tell our viewers about, your like musical journey. Like, what was that point where, you realized that, you wanted to pursue like a career into music? Give us some insights about it.
Okay, well, I've done this my whole life. I know every artist says that. They've always done it their whole life, but I've been inclined to do it. I mean, it's always been in my heart to do it. And it's not just, I do rap music, hip hop, but it's been music as a whole. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. I moved to Mississippi from Colorado. So it was a lot of different things going on out there musically. I came up when hip hop was like first hitting the scene. So I grew up on the Ice Cubes. I grew up on the NWAs. I grew up on the KRS Ones and artists like that. And it was an influence. My favorite rapper has always been LL Cool J. So that's what got me started. So I moved down south. It was a culture change. You got different artists down here. You had the Two Live Crew era. You had things like that. You had the Little John Eastside Boys, the Ghetto Boys, and things like that. So I kind of merged into some of the things that was going on down here, and I loved it. As far as with the inspiration, and I've always jot things down in notebooks during class, hard to pay attention. Just, what I'm saying, things like that. It was the culture that got me involved, but music altogether is what I do it for. It doesn't have to be rap, because I used to listen to a lot of rock and heavy metal when I was in Colorado. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a journey that I've grown with. It's developed me, and I couldn't imagine life without it. I can say that.
I mean, yeah, it definitely makes sense. But this actually brings me to a question. I mean, this whole journey, it's been almost like 2 decades now since, you came into music and all. But, like, was there, like, a single person or someone in your family or, like, another artist maybe who actually inspired you to, be a part of it, like, initially? Because, like, in every artist story, it's normally like, a lot of these people are inspired by something, some family event. Maybe there is a mishap, a tragedy, or like a single personality that actually motivates you to, start going into music? I mean, it's some sort of a passion that you make yourself a career out of. So, like, was there some sort of an incident that actually, brought you into this, onto this side?
Uh, wasn't actually an incident, but my oldest brother, his name's Eddie Sampson. He kind of inspired me to do music, and it wasn't the fact that he did music or anything, but he introduced me to music. He always had, this is cassette tape days. I mean, big suitcases full of cassette tapes. I just remember that, and he kind of introduced me to rap music when it wasn't rap music. Like I said earlier, it's just when I adapted to that, and then when I moved down south, I mean, I was in a military family, so we moved constantly. So you never actually have a lot of friends. You spend a lot of time on your own and trying to adapt to things. So when I finally settled in the South, I kind of was different from the rest of the kids. It kind of resonated. So what I did was, to pass the time away, I would just jot down rhymes in my book, and I just start hearing the influence of, like, rap. My favorite rapper outside of LL Cool J is Scarface. So I listened to him, and I listened to the influence he has on my surroundings that was around me. I was like, that kind of motivated me and inspired me to want to do music more and just listen to the melodies, and it was just a different atmosphere. I guess that's how I chose to fit in. That was my niche, my talent. I played football, basketball, went there.
I probably know the answer to this question, but for our viewers, we're still pretty much going to ask this. How would you, consider yourself? Like, do you consider yourself to, be like, a singer, a rapper, like a producer, a songwriter, or do you consider yourself to be, all of them, all in one package? I know the answer to this, but this is strictly for our viewers.
Man, I'm an artist, man. I do it all. It's no ceiling to this. If I can hold a note and get on there and sing, I'll do it. If I can play an instrument, I'll do it. If I can produce it, if I can mix it, if I can do it, I'm all hands in. So yeah, I consider myself an artist. I'm not just a rapper, or I'm not an R&B singer or anything like that.
I mean, you're kind of like, jack of all trades, and which actually brings us to our, connecting question. Like, what do you think is your niche genre? Like, do you think, is it like more on the indie side, or are you kind of like versatile on the genre sides as well?
I think I'm an indie artist. I'm definitely an indie artist. I'm definitely not mainstream, even though I can come off with some mainstream. I can do anything as far as music goes. That's become so easy to me because I've been doing it so long. It's nothing to create a song. But I grew up on hip hop. I grew up on rap, and that's what I do. I mean, that's what I'm best at. But as far as music goes, I mean, I can do it all. I just love it. I just love music. So yeah, I am an artist. So I do focus more on my craft.
I mean, like, in terms of genre, do you still think that you can provide us with different kinds of tracks? I mean, not in particular indie, but are you possibly focused in the times to come on different genres, like, I mean, pop or hip hop, other kinds?
I do. But my main thing is definitely hip hop and rap. I mean, that's what I'm best at. That's what I focus more on. If I do anything that's outside of that, it'll be more adding to it. Helping maybe featuring them with an artist, or mixing a song, or producing a song. But when it on an artist point of view, yeah, I'm a hip hop artist. I mean, there's no way around it. It's just bottom line what it is. But I can venture off into other categories, but I typically stay in my lane.
All right. So, viewers, like, there's a really interesting part of Corey here. I've actually been working with him for like over a year now, And like in this whole time frame, we've actually come across so many different things. He, in my personal opinion, he's kind of like, the complete package of what an artist is. And that's what really interests me about an artist, because, a lot of people that we work with are not, I would say like true artists, because an artist is someone that comes up with his own stuff, someone who, draws, or someone who actually creates something. And the best part about Corey Bluehouse here is that he's actually a gem of a person. And I would like to add here, that I actually, heard one of your recent most tracks that was, I think, posted almost a year ago, Dog Dirty, with G-Way. That track actually interested me a lot due to a number of reasons. Now, the main thing that I wanted to ask you about was the come-up story about this track. Like, what was the main thing that actually inspired you to, create this song and, write this song? Actually, the lyrics relate to a lot of different stories out there that are, practically observed in a lot of people's lives. So tell me like a bit about this track.
Okay, absolutely, man. That's one of my favorite songs. I really like this song. It's this collaboration me, Dog Dirty, and the artist who sang the hook on it is actually named is G-Way. And it's really basically how it came about is, you do this for so long, you want to see it pay off. You want to see your team win. You want to reach success in it. And there's a lot of obstacles along the way, whether it be life, whether it be disloyalty, or just things that come about in this industry. This industry is not the easiest industry to be in. So it's just a point where you reach a breaking point. This is therapy for us. You know what I'm saying? So we locked in the studio, and that's what came out when we heard the beat. I had enough. Kind of reach your breaking point, and you put it to the beat, and you let everybody know what's going on in your life. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it was. I mean, it was.
So like normally, do you guys just like go to studio, come up with something that's, and unexplainably amazing, or is there a whole thought process behind it?
I wish it was that easy. It's definitely not. We definitely get together, and we might run through 30 or 40 beats before we find one. You know what I'm saying? And we lock in, and it's all about the vibe. It's all about catching the vibe. So once we catch that vibe, we'll run through ideas, and we'll bounce them off each other until we find out what's going to fit this track and how we're going to do it and who's going to be on it. And it may start off one way and it may end different, but it's all about the vibe once you lock in that studio.
I couldn't agree more, but let's just make it, this question a bit general. Like, what is your personal creative process like? Like, do you normally, need some me time, maybe drive across the state, or maybe, come up with something that, actually suits you to, producing a song in general?
I can tell you 90% of my music comes when I'm riding in the car, because I got like track lists with nothing but beats on it, and I listen to it. I listen to those tracks, and I do a lot of riding, I do a lot of traveling, and I do a lot of traveling by myself, so that's when it's best. So while I'm riding, a beat will come on, and just something will click in my head, and I'll come up with a chorus. It always starts with a chorus, and then I come in and I drop that chorus, then I come with the lyrics. And believe it or not, a lot of songs come to me in my sleep. I would dream of songs. I'm like, man, something was in my head last night. You know what I'm saying?
That's the first time I'm hearing about this, but it's interesting.
It's kind of crazy. I guess they call it a lucid dream. It's like I'm feeling it. I'm hearing it in my head, and I know what I want to do. And if I can remember when I get up, then I'm in the studio, I'm in the lab. I'm trying to put it together before it leaves. But 90% of my music comes straight when I'm driving and listening to tracks. I call it running through tracks. I run through tracks.
And that's mostly solo traveling, right?
Absolutely.
Nobody's accompanying you.
Yeah, it's just me and my thoughts.
Right. This is, something that really catches an eye. So, I mean, moving on. Let's talk, a bit about your music, like your whole, these 20 years, that you've been in this industry. I mean, your journey. Um, let's talk about, I would say, your music. Like, when was your first song released? What was the story behind it? Give us, like, a bit of behind the scenes about it, and this whole journey. Let's just sum it up in about like a minute. How would you say your journey has been so far? And like, since another question that I'm going to be connecting to this one is going to be, it's 2024, like we're in the first trimester of it, but what do you think you have for your audience and for in this year? Like, are you planning to go big? And you got something special coming in?
Okay, just as far as the music goes, it's always been progression. I thought about it today. It's always been progression. If you hear the very first song I made and maybe the song I hear now, you'll see the growth. Every album has been different as we have grown and we got better. Everything has changed. Quality has changed. The content has changed. It's all been about progression.
Been drastic. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, if the first song I ever put out was called "Play the Game." That was back in '97, and I mean, it actually made the radio. I mean, I was working at Domino's Pizza with I'm back there flipping pizzas, and my song come on the radio. I'm like, man, I had to leave. I had to leave the line. So yeah, it's all about progression. It's always making sure that we're putting out better quality than we did before, better content than we did before, and just growing in this game. And as far as what I expect from 2024 is really along those same lines. I want to put out good music. I want to put out lasting music. I want to put out something that is 2024. I want you to play it in 3034, whenever, you know what I'm saying? 2027 is 5 or 6 years, even more recent. I want to put out something that's lasting, that somebody can listen and say, hey, I can get through this because these guys are inspiring.
So I mean, like,
As of now, is something cooking in your kitchen right now?
Absolutely. We always try to stay a step ahead of the game, and we always try to stay in our own lane, and we always try to do it original, and we always try to make it quality music. You know what I'm saying? It's so much material that we have that's ready to go, and there's so much material that we're already making. So it's pressure on me to let it marinate and make sure we're putting out the right things at the right time.
right.
So let's just briefly tell our viewers about the label that you're running, because like that has been ongoing since how long now? 20 years maybe?
20 years. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. We had our peak. We're from down here in Mississippi. We had our peak back in 2004, 2005, and then all of a sudden we got hit by Hurricane Katrina, and that kind of wiped out everything we built. So we've been back on it, building since then. It's about 10 artists on the label. I can't name them all, but we there, and been reaching out to a lot of younger talent. You know what I'm saying? It's just being on the business end now, trying to build the brand, function as a label, and just reach out to new talent. Always up for collaborations, always up to hear new music, always up to hear new beats. So yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. It's a journey. It's a lot of work.
So like, everyone's been like sourced locally in Mississippi, or are you targeting people from cross states or cross country?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I look, with me being from Mississippi. Of course, I looked at Mississippi first because it's a need. It's a need. So, but if the timing is right, and if I'm able to help an artist outside of this region, yeah, I'm definitely willing. But right now, I do really focus on Mississippi because I can probably do more for a Mississippi artist, a local artist, than I can from anybody else that's out of state or out of this country.
And I mean, like, what's the goal of this label? Like, to maybe get in more artists, or like, what do you actually expect the outcome of this label? Because 20 years, that's a long time. But like, what can be expected out of it in times to come?
Well, the main goal is the brand. I want to be the first major, I guess, label, indie label, or major label out of Mississippi. I want Blue House to be that moniker for Mississippi. I want them to speak of that. I want that to be historic.
I mean, do I see the Blue House on your hoodie as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's some merchandise.
Blue House on the hoodie, Blue House on the chain. Yeah.
That's sick. That's super sick.
We got our own merchandise.
I mean,
So we.
Are you currently just selling these things like online, or I mean, is it like a physical business kind of thing?
I just now got the things are set up for me to sell it online. But mostly I've been just taking just doing the bulk orders and selling them here and there as we go. But we're finally branching to where we got the merchandise that's going to be online, and it's probably going to be available probably the end of this month. So yeah, that's something I'm really excited about.
So what are you like currently focusing on? So it's mainly going to be merchandise, couple accessories kind of thing, or is it going to be like a much broader store?
Well, right now it's just going to be the merchandise, probably t-shirts, hoodies, just things like that. We got a few accessories, but not a whole lot. So we're just going to start off small and try to expand as much as we can as we go. I mean, at the end of the day, we are a music label. And actually, I don't want to get too distracted away from the music and venture off too far.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that actually I would say defines an artist. I mean, I personally think that every artist out there should have like their own products, because you are your own brand label. This is what I believe, right? So Blue House, whenever the word Blue House music comes into my mind, I'm actually originally thinking of Corey Sampson out there, and I mean possibly this should be the goal of like every other person out there as well. So like these products, merchandise, I mean different kinds of stuff, these things actually represent a brand. So the more products that you've got, the more products that you like, I would say the more existence you've got online will actually depict how stronger a foundation you have as a brand. So, like in my opinion, this is something that needs to be well focused on. The branding part is, in my opinion, the most important part in the growth of any business, any person, any artist, and primarily, that is what we are focused on as well with you. So, I mean, it's interesting, that your whole, your journey from your music to your label to branding, products, merchandise. I mean, you're accumulating a lot of things. But how do you actually find the time to, make such incredible music?
Man, I don't know.
It's tough.
It's a good question, man. It actually it kind of went from me doing music late in the evening, and as I grew older, it grew into me getting up early in the morning to doing my best music early in the morning. So yeah, it's that's kind of where I do it at. It's whenever because I got my own home set up. Instead of me having to go to the studio and do things, I just went and invested in my own home setup so I can come in and do the pre-production and then drop in and do it later on at another studio. So yeah, it's a process.
That's actually smart. Corey's a smart man.
I'll try to be.
It's actually interesting. I mean, having a studio of your own is, possibly every independent artist's dream. We're going to be concluding this episode of our, brief podcast. Viewers, this was pretty much a mere introduction about, what Blue House or Corey Sampson has to offer us right now. There's, still a lot to talk about. I mean, we're always short on time when it comes to podcasts. We're going to be discussing a lot, but the last question I actually have for Corey here is that 2024, and what's the soonest we're expecting something out of you? I mean, audiences out there, people are actually looking out for a lot of new tracks, new visuals and stuff. So, what's the soonest that can be expected in times to come? I mean,
With you, man, this is probably gonna be my busiest year as far as the music goes. I am trying to drop singles, at least 3 singles a month, and a full-length album every 3 months in this quarter. So yeah, it's about to be a lot of music getting released. So Easter weekend, I'm dropping 4 singles that day from 4 different artists. So yeah, I'm dumping the house. we unloading everything we got.
so damn. So we're expecting like a truckload of music coming in our way.
Yeah. I don't want to. It's music that we have. It's nothing. I don't want to just throw out a whole quantity of music. So the music is going to be good quality. It's going to be some good music that's coming out. It's things I've been sitting on for a year or so or longer, and just some things. It's time to start giving the audience more of what they love. You guys been a big part of it, growing our brand and growing our audience. So now I just want to give them a lot more of what we have. So that's what motivated me to start saying, "Hey, let's bring it."
Most definitely, it's actually. I'm sorry to cut you, but it's actually been an honor to have you as part of our team. I mean, your growth is actually directly proportional to ours, and I mean, this is something that actually helps both the marketing team as well as the artists and the label, and we're expecting some really good results for you in the times to come. So let's just conclude this conversation. This podcast session. In our next episode, though, Corey, we're going to be talking a lot about your music in depth and your label as well, because we want to give some insights to our viewers about what it is actually that you're doing. I mean, this was, I would say, a mere your life story summed up in like 30 minutes or so. In the next episode, we are going to be talking a lot about your detailed journey, your struggles, your hustles, that the problems that you had to face, your obstacles and stuff like that. So until then, we're going to be concluding this podcast session. Guys, make sure to follow Corey Sampson, or I would say Blue House Music, on the links given in the description below. Make sure to subscribe our channel as well. And Corey, always a pleasure having you, working with you. We're going to be staying connected, and until our next episode, let's just keep grinding, producing the best results, you producing the best music out there. And let's just stay connected. You then, have a good evening then, yeah?
Hey, you do the same, man. I appreciate y'all having me, man, and I enjoyed the whole process, man.
Always and for sure, man. You have a good one then, yeah. All right, take care.
All right, you have a good one. Take care. All right, talk to you guys soon.
All right.